You know, as customers, we go to an establishment, we enjoy, we relish these dishes, but there's so much work that goes into the preparation of these dishes. And to them, it's not just work, it's a way of life. That meat just peels away from the bone like butter. We are here on Akbar Road in Mandi Mohalla, and we are here to taste a dish that has been popular in Mysuru since 1930. I am here at Hotel Hanumanthu to taste their iconic Mutton Pulav. Namaskar, sir. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. So I am with Mr. Parmesh and Vishal, who are the second and third generation of Hanumanthu Hotel. Sir, nimdu hotel ishtu popular ide, ishtu famous ide. Karana ಏನು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ?
ಕಾರಣ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಜನನೇ, ಗ್ರಾಹಕರೇ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಊಟ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರೇ ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಮಾತ್ರ ನಿಮ್ದು ಊಟನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಗ್ರಾಹಕರು.
ನಮ್ಮ ತಂದೆ ಕೈ ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದ ಅದು.
ಓಕೆ,
ಅವರಿಂದ ನಮಗೆ ಅವ್ರು ಕಲಿಸ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದ ವಿದ್ಯೆಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಇವತ್ತು.
All right. So he says that the reason why their hotel, why their restaurant is so popular is because of the customers and the blessing of his father who started Hanumanthu Hotel. So sir, really, what is most popular here?
ಮಟನ್ ಪಲಾವ್.
Mutton Pulav.
ಒಂದೇ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಆಗ 5:30ಗೆ ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ ಬರೋರು, ಯಾರು ಅಂಬರೀಷ್ ಅವರು ಬರೋರು.
ಓಕೆ, ಅಂಬರೀಷ್ ಅವರು. ಓಕೆ,
ಅವ್ರು ಬಂದು ಪಾರ್ಸಲ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಶೂಟಿಂಗ್ ಗೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಊಟಿ ಗೀಟಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದಾನೆ ಪಾರ್ಸಲ್ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬ ಫಿಲಮ್ ಆಕ್ಟರ್ಗಳು, ರವಿಚಂದ್ರನ್ ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಇಲ್ಲೇ ನಾವು ಟಿಫನ್ ಅಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಿಗೆ.
ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಆವಾಗಿಂದ 5:30-6 ಗಂಟೆ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ the custom of pulav. So the custom of pulav here starts at 6 o'clock, 5:36 in the morning itself. ಅಂದರೆ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಪುಲಾವ್ ತಿಂದರೆ ಏನು ಹೆಲ್ತಿಗೆ you feel strong, you feel
ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಜಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಗೀಕಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿರ್ತಾರೆ.
So all the local pehlwans, all the local bodybuilders will work out, and after the workout they will come here to Hanumanthu Hotel and eat that fortifying mutton pulav.
It's a homely made food.
Homely made food.
Natural ingredients ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಮತ್ತು ಇನ್ಯಾವುದೇ ಟೇಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಪೌಡರು ಯಾವುದೂ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ತಯಾರಿಸುವಂಥ ಮಸಾಲೆಗಳನ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಫುಡ್. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇಷ್ಟು ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲರು ಮತ್ತು ಆ ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ನ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ.
So that is his brother, Mr. Vasu. All right. So ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಎಂಟರ್ಪ್ರೈಸ್. ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಪುಲಾವ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ನೋಡ್ಬೋದಾ ಕಿಚನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ? All right. So next we're going to go into the kitchen here at Hotel Hanumanthu and see how that delicious, world famous Hanumanthu Pulav is made. That is Mr. Hanumanthu, the founder of Hanumanthu Pulav, and his wife. They are the ones who started this eatery way back in 1930. It's incredible to find an eatery that has been around for the last 90 years and still going strong. So I'm here with Mr. Parmesh, and they're just getting the next batch of pulav started. As you can see, the onion and tomato have gone into the oil. So sir, idu new ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ every day? All right. ನೀವು ಎಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಇದು ಪುಲಾವ್?
ನಮಗೆ ನಾನು ಒಂದು 40 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
For the last 40 years. ಅದು ವುಡ್ ಫೈರ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡೋದು?
ವುಡ್ ಫೈರ್ ಅಲ್ಲ.
ಇದೇನು ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ವುಡ್? ಮಾಮೂಲಿ ವುಡ್, ಲೋಕಲ್ ವುಡ್. Tamarind wood ಆ ಥರ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ. Mr. Parmesh prepares the pulav in the same fashion that his father first did 90 years ago. He says that's the secret to the taste of the Hanumanthu Pulav. So apparently even the sheep is their sheep, and that's the one that they slaughter for the pulav. So apparently from every sheep that they slaughter, it's about 8 or 9 kilos, and that's the desired weight of the animal. So then the meat soft irutte. Slaughter is halal or jatka idu? Halal, okay. The meat that was freshly butchered has just gone into the pot with the onion and the tomato. And that meat looks pink. You know, he's counting the number of fist of salt that he has put in. He's counting the number of, I think that's the turmeric that's going in there. All these measures have probably been ingrained in him because he's been cooking this pulao for the last 40 years. This is tough work. You really need strong arms to do that. So, ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಿಲೋ ಮಟನ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ? So there are 30 kilos of meat in this pot. ನಿಮ್ಮದು ತಾಯಿ ಅವ್ರು ಸಹ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ ಇದ್ರಾ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ? ಅವ್ರು ಸಹ ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ರೆಸಿಪಿ ಯಾರ್ದು, ನಿಮ್ಮದು ತಾಯಿ ತಾ ನಿಮ್ಮದು ತಂದೆದು? ಇಬ್ಬರದ್ದು ಸರ್. ಓಕೆ. ದಿ ಮಸಾಲಾಸ್ ಆರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದೇ ಸೀಕ್ರೆಟ್ ಇನ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಸ್ಪೈಸಸ್ ದಟ್ ಗೋ ಇನ್. ಸೊ ಅದು ನಿಮ್ಮದು ತಂದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದರು, ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಸನ್ನಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀರ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ಲಿ ಪಾಸಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಒನ್ ಜನರೇಷನ್ ಟು ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್. Mr. Parmesh is giving it a stir just to ensure that the meat cooks well. He wants the meat to be cooked before he adds the masalas to it. So the masala that just went in has garlic, ginger, green chilies and coriander. Lots of coriander. Some water that's gone on top of the masala. The masala is now being stirred into the meat. Every piece of meat is literally drowning in that masala to get all those fresh herbaceous flavors of the masala. You know, I'm standing here for a few minutes and my eyes are tearing up, my eyes are red. So he also has some oil scars on him. You know, as customers, we go to an establishment, we enjoy, we relish these dishes, but there's so much work that goes into the preparation of these dishes, and to them it's not just work, it's a way of life. I can smell all the aromas of the masala and the meat wafting out of it. So apparently the rice that goes into it is a short grain bullet rice and also some basmati that's gone into it. So it's a mix of two rice varieties. Oh, sir, ಇದು ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ತುಂಬಾ ಕಷ್ಟ ಇದೆ. Oh my god. 30 kilos of meat and 30 kilos of rice that he is maneuvering inside that pot there. 10 minutes. Ready. So the rice has gone in. The rice is a combination of the short grain bullet rice. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬಾಸ್ಮತಿ ಸಹ. ಸೊ ಬಾಸ್ಮತಿ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಗ್ರೇನಾ? ಏನು ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ ರೈಸ್? India Gate. So it's a combination of those two that has gone into the pulao now, and it's 10 minutes of cooking of the rice before the pulao is ready to be savored. So when the rice gets cooked, it will float to the top of this pulao. So as you can see, the pulao is almost cooked. The rice is floating to the top, and now will happen the final process of the cooking of this pulao, which is the dum. So all that charcoal goes on top to allow the pulao to cook on dum. You can feel the heat. You can feel the heat of all this charcoal on your skin. That's how hot this kitchen is right now. Some weight that's gone on top of the pot with the pulao just to make sure that none of the steam escapes, because this is now the last stage of the cooking of this pulao, which is cooking on dum or cooking using the steam that's trapped inside. So what they've also done is they've removed all the charcoal from the bottom, because the pulao is already cooked at the bottom. They don't want any more cooking at the bottom. All the charcoal that's placed on top in the last few stages of the making of the iconic Hanumanthu Hotel Pulao. So the first ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಹಾಕೋದು Oh wow. Oh, this is the mutton pulav just a few minutes after it's been taken off the pot here. I'm going to just taste the rice first. This rice is moist just off the fire and it has all those flavors. That meat just peels away from the bone like butter. Sir, super is it?
ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಲೆಮನ್ ಹಿಂಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
So Parmesh says I should put some lemon. Rice mein liya sir. On the rice. Just get some of the tartness. Mix that well. He says the lemon oh I can smell the aromas of the lime. That goes in an entirely different direction. So he says I should also mix it with the salad, the onion, tomato and taste it with that. The meat just peels off the bone. It's cooked so well. And now I know the reason why Hanumanthu Hotel Pulav is so famous. So these are some of the other dishes. This is what sir?
ಬೋಟಿ
Boti. The boti, that is the intestine,
ಸ್ಪೇರ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ಗಳು.
intestine, tripe, all the spare parts of the animal that goes into this. That's the country chicken. This is a mutton korma. I've just watched this pulao being made from scratch and I've also had a bit of a taste of that mutton pulao, but I wanted to sit here in the restaurant and taste that pulao a little more and also some of the other dishes that are popular here at Hotel Hanumanthu.
ಮಟನ್ ಚಾಪ್ಸ್,
Mutton chops ಒಂದು,
ಚಿಕನ್ ಚಾಪ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ,
okay.
ನಾಟಿ ಕೋಳಿ ಕುರ್ಮಾ ಇದೆ, ಮಟನ್ ಕುರ್ಮಾ ಇದೆ,
ಸೊ ಒಂದು ಮಟನ್ ಚಾಪ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಒಂದು
ಪ್ಲೇಟ್ ಮಟನ್ ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ.
ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲೇಟ್ ಮಟನ್ ಪುಲಾವ್. So this is served with the raita and also the sherwa, which is made with the mutton bones, the stock. No? So I've got more of the mutton pulav here, and this is quite a big portion. It's quite a huge portion. This is probably good enough for 2 people. The rice is still hot to the touch. It's just come off the fire. I love the fullness of each grain of rice. Each grain of rice has swelled and absorbed all that masala that's gone into the mutton pulav here. Oh, this is so good. This rice is so flavorful. The mutton pieces here, I've also got a bit of the liver and a bit of the kidney as well. So it's all the delicious parts of the mutton that have gone into this pulao. As you can see, this place is crowded, it's busy. But it's still very early here. It's only 12 o'clock. And this place is buzzing. I'm going to taste a bit of the mutton now in that pulao. Look at that meat. It's soft, it's pink, and it's still steaming away. I love the flavor of the meat there. A lot of the locals, you also refer to it as biryani, but it's a pulao. So the masala that this pulao is cooked in is so gentle. It doesn't overpower the preparation. It doesn't overpower the pulao. You taste, it allows for the flavor of the meat, the aromas of the meat to come through. I'm also going to taste a bit of the liver. It's got that intense, earthy flavor punch. I just moistened this pulao here with the sherwa. So I love the fact that they serve the pulao here on this patri or this plate that's fashioned out of dry leaves. If you want a bit of a wet flavor boost, you can definitely use the sherwa. But if you ask me personally, I think that rice has all the flavor that you need. And so also this meat. This meat is cooked perfectly. It's got bits of the fat as well for all that flavor. You don't even have to bite into it. It's as soft as that. And it still has that bite. Also some fat here in case you want some added flavor boost. But I'm going to taste a piece of this kidney next. It's got that slightly briny flavor. I love the fact that in this mutton pulao, you've got the meat, you've got a bit of the liver, you've got a bit of the kidney. So it's a lovely combination. I've also ordered a couple of the side dishes. So this is the mutton chops. A nice piece of chop with the meat and some fat. That's on it. I want to taste a bit of the gravy. So it's got all that flavor from the stock and the masala that's gone into it. You also have some fat that's floating in the gravy here. So you also have that buttery flavor that comes from the fat. And now we're going to taste our mutton chop. That just almost melts in your mouth. The fact that it's been floating around in the gravy while these chops are being prepared, that's made that piece of meat soft, almost mushy. I'm going to taste the rest of the chop here. This one has a firm, definitely a piece of meat with some strength. You know what I really love here from the pulao that I've tasted and also the mutton chops is the gentleness of the masala. It's not overly spicy, it's not overly flavorful. It allows for the ingredient, it allows for the meat, it allows for all that to shine through, and you can taste it without really breaking into a sweat. You know, I think that's what's really special about the preparations here. At least both the preparations that I've tasted thus far. I love the fact that this piece of meat has some bite to it. I'm already quite full now, but I'm going to taste that boti. So the boti, the intestine, the tripe, and some of the other spare parts of the animal that go into this. I'm going to taste this just a little bit, just to taste the flavors. You know, this is being cooked perfectly. Sometimes when you're tasting boti, it can be a little chewy, it can be a little leathery, almost rubbery, but this is cooked just fine. I love the flavor of this gravy. It's very different from the mutton chops that I had here. This gravy has a certain thickness to it, a certain creaminess to it, a certain unctuousness to it that I can't quite place. But it's quite tasty. And again, the masala is just gentle. It allows for the flavor of the main ingredient, whether it's the meat, whether it's the intestine, the tripe, the liver, for all of that to shine through. After tasting that boti, I want to go back and get some more of the mutton pulav here, because that's the main act here. This is quite a big pulav. I think 3-4 pieces of meat in my pulav. I've already finished 2. I had a bit of the liver as well and a tiny bit of the kidney. So when you're here, order one of those pulavs, order a couple of the side dishes, and that should be good enough for a meal for 2. I love the flavor of this meat. It's tender and juicy and a bit of the fat. So at Hanumanthu Pulav, the pulav that they serve every single day is a mutton pulav, and that's the only pulav that gets made. But on a Sunday, in the morning, I'm told between 6:30 and 9, they also make a nati chicken or a country chicken pulav. So if you're a chicken lover, make sure that you time your visit to Hanumanthu Hotel on a Sunday morning to taste that nati chicken pulav as well. As for me, I am completely satisfied with my mutton pulav here. It's been an interesting couple of hours here at Hanumanthu Hotel, watching that delicious mutton pulav being prepared from scratch to tasting it. It's fascinating to see the commitment of this family to a tradition that began over 9 decades ago, nearly a century ago. So when you are in Mysuru, you must definitely come to Hanumanthu Hotel, the original Hanumanthu Hotel on Akbar Road in Mandi Mohalla, to not just taste this delicious mutton pulav and the other dishes that are on offer, but for a slice of this glorious culinary tradition that began nearly a century ago. Until the next episode of Gourmet on the Road, stay safe and happy eating. Well, I certainly am happy eating my mutton pulav here at Hotel Hanumanthu. So I'm going to dive right back into this. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, share and leave a comment. If you'd like to support Food Lovers TV, do log on to foodlovers.in and hit the Support Food Lovers banner. Links in the description below. Happy eating!